I'm so glad that we were able to connect, and I know you were super, flexible with the timing. Our original time slot, I had like an alumni event to do, but thank you for being flexible.
Hey, I'm not going to interrupt that cash flow. Hey, Daniel, one of my fellow ISU alumni in the building. I'm excited for him to check out your game. So I've done a couple events with the ISU's Alumni Association. So excited to be able to put them on with Pull Up after today.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I love it. The networking. See, we're not even like 1 minute in and it's already a connection.
Oh, for sure. That's what we here for. What up, Sarah? I know as a fellow entrepreneur, I know that one of the challenges that a lot of us have is that we don't always get the support we expect from our friends and family, but I can't say that that's the case for me. Sarah's my sister, full disclosure. So, hey, Sarah from Ohio. And she still keeps in touch with several of her friends from college. So I told her, I was like, this is one of my lives you don't want to miss this because you and your friends may want to have a game night soon. So I'm excited.
A game night with all Black-owned games. And I see some other game makers in the chat. Shout out to Our Central Games. Just followed y'all today based off of seeing your TikTok content, which was hilarious.
And that's one I'm not up on. So I have to, what was the name of that game?
Our Essential Games.
Our Essential Games. Okay, come on, Black creatives. I remember when we first started, I thought I was doing something special.
You are.
I did. Oh my gosh. Then I came. Then at this point, I love it though. It's crazy to be in spaces like this with people who love games like I do. Because my people love games, but it's on a different level. So I love being able to create with fellow game creators. My other sister, what up, Liz?
Hey, I love it. Well, I see a lot of your people on, which is perfect because this might be your first time meeting me. So for those of you who are new to me, that is, I'm Liz. I'm the founder of Pull Up Card Game. We're a nostalgic party game all about reminiscing your college days. So unapologetically Black, whether you went to an HBCU or a PWI, we're here to celebrate Black excellence. So that's what our game is all about. And so Rachel would love for you to talk a little bit about fanfoolery as a larger umbrella, and then more specifically about Trap Wars, which just came in the mail for me today.
Hey, get there in time. What's up? Okay, so anybody who has never heard of Fanfoolery or Trap Wars, Fanfoolery is a company started by me and my partner in crime, my husband, Chris. And we actually probably have a pretty unprecedented story in terms of how the reason we were motivated to start Fanfoolery. So let's see, my youngest daughter, Raven, is 3 months, and her birth is just so symbolic for me in so many different ways, because at the time we launched Fanfoolery, I had just lost my first pregnancy, and I was like 6 or 7 months along, and so it was just a really difficult time. But it was through that experience that I learned just the power in gameplay, because my friends and family, another one of my friends just hopped on. Hey, Drea, one of my friends from college. And so she came in right on cue, because she will tell you that when me, her, and my other girls from college get together and have game night, sometimes we need a little time after we play, because we don't care what's going on with you at the time. We get petty, we have fun. And so in that season, for me, moments like that were just healing. But the only downside was I got tired of losing at games like Taboo, or what are some of the others? I had a long day, so my mind is going blank. But I don't know how to explain to my people who Charles Darwin is, and sometimes I can't even remember who these people are. So so these games are fun, but it was just my dream to think about playing a game that I could actually resonate with, and one that I identify with. And so for my 30th birthday that year, there was no business idea in mind. I just created a game that at the time I was calling Trap Taboo. It was just something fun to do for my party. But then afterwards, people kept saying, did you keep those cards? And Liz, like, I made the game on paper, like it was like just loosely paper. But I guess enough people said that you should think about trademarking or patenting that idea. I took them serious. And, you know, this summer, I can't believe it'll already be our 4-year anniversary that we'll be celebrating being in operation.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Show some love in the chat. Like, you hear that 4-year anniversary. That is amazing. Because something I'm learning as a relatively new entrepreneur is this 18-month plateau where businesses might not make it to that point or then decide to go a different direction. So to hear of someone in the game industry that's 4 years in, I feel like that I'm not taking that lightly. That is definitely amazing. And I want to know, like, for you 4 years ago, how was the market then for Black created games compared to what you're seeing now?
Oh my goodness, girl. So first of all, don't glorify me because I'm not special. I definitely fell into that 18-month. We got to rebrand, we got to revamp, we got to figure things out, because if you're doing the math, so we launched at the end, it was summer of 2018. And by the time I was just hitting that 18-month, getting my stride and trying to getting clear on what we were doing, I got pregnant again with my oldest daughter, Araya, who, full disclosure, you might hear her at some point in the background, but her, and the world was about to shut down. So I think we've completely rebranded, revamped our business in a number of ways. Shout out to Austin Justice, who we got a going. Me and Aston got she's the creator of the app Tip Off, right? Me and her got a joke. Tell me, do this happen to you? That whenever people play your game, they show all the love, but then they always tell you like what you should have did. and so the thing people always say to me is y'all should have made an app. But Aston has an app that is a similar vibe to Trap Wars. So everybody who loves Trap Wars, check out Tip Off, the app. And so she was like, girl, don't listen to them, because she said people tell her the same thing, why you didn't make it in card format. So we were actually just texting before this, because we came together, combined forces. We're both here in the Chicagoland area, and we hosted a Black women's brunch I guess this would have been 2 weeks ago. Amazing turnout. My mind is still blown. We had something like 80 plus women there, but just literally 2 minutes ago, we found out that we were featured in Essence magazine.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't even read it, so I don't even know like why I would be pointing people to the direction. But you know, they're not the shade room, so I think it's safe. So shout out to my girl Aston. And so just to answer your question about pivoting, because it was when we were really getting into our stride, the whole world shut down, and we were getting our bread and butter from in-person sales and not online. So I really had to step up my social media game, which, you know, if you look at my individual feed, you see I got all of like 200 followers as Ray played the wins. But Fanfoolery, I really had to tap into my resources, figure out what to do. And actually, it's nostalgic for me to be here with you right now, because during the pandemic, we were hosting game show experiences, which took on a whole life of its own. Something crazy like 30% of Black-owned businesses actually went under as a result of the pandemic. And so we started hosting a more formal game show experience via Yard Stream and on Facebook, where all of our contestants were other Black business owners, and they would be playing the game Trap Wars, but it was our way of tricking people and putting them on with Black businesses to help them sustain. Because, you know, people want to support Black business, but they want to be entertained. And sometimes the priority is the reverse order. So we would just me and other business owners would be, you know, just like you might picture like a Family Feud style, but we were playing Trap Wars. They would talk about their brand and their business, and people get petty. Probably, I'm gonna learn how. That's probably what they do on your game on pull-up cards. But people get real petty, so it was just really fun, and I just created, I think, some lifelong business partners. But the reason I brought that up with your question about how I pivoted as a business is that now the reason I don't have the bandwidth to go live as often is we actually host live game show experiences based on that model that we created. We were just doing something to benefit the community and doing something to just spread some good vibes during the pandemic. But that turned into a whole new stream of revenue for us as a business. Man, we getting all the love from the game creators. Liz, I have to go more often. I just saw Devon from Play Black Wall Street, him and his wife Sinclair. If anybody represents the idea of the power of collaboration versus competition, I definitely get that from them. I reached out to them, didn't even know them. He like, yeah, let's go live. Let's do this. Let's create a group. Let's all talk about marketing. So shout out to my boy Devon. If you don't know about the game, Play Black Wall Street, grab it. Be done with Monopoly. Their game is the Black Wall Street, actually in Tulsa. Well, you know what? Let me stop. No, go to Play Black Wall Street. Look up the game, Lizz. Go live with Devon. Y'all have your own session. We talking about trap wars today. See, I get so excited.
No, I'm excited too. And I'm thinking a lot of people, I wanted to call out Tenacious Ivy said that they're in the Chicago area and launching their game this summer. So Tenacious Ivy, I know you're launching this summer. If you want to let us know if we should follow you directly. And sometimes I like to do a little roll call to just like show love to the people who have joined. So sometimes IG switches up on us, but it looks like I can do one. The Pour Up Wine, Black-owned, amazing wine. Wine so good, y'all, that my grandmother killed the bottle over Thanksgiving when we had it.
Not your grandma, Liz. Come on.
She's like,
I need to come to one of your family events.
Aaliyah, hey Aaliyah, Product Development Pro, Our Essential Games we mentioned earlier, Braggers Rights, Killa Kara, Tenacious Ivy, as we mentioned earlier, Aston Soror, founder of Tip Off, Liz Ash 24, As Embroidered, A to Z Embroidered Studio, Play Black Wall Street, as we mentioned earlier, One Sarah Joy, and Andrea Reed. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this live on this Wednesday. We know Wednesday is always packed when it comes to IG Live. It's like ring, ring, ring on the top. So
okay. See, now I know. Wednesday is the night. Shout out to A to Z Embroidery for all of our business owners here in the Chicagoland area. Her and her husband Jackie, and Reese, they do all the embroidery apparel. So they keep us hooked up. So thanks for joining Braggers Rights. They host, if you don't know how to play spades, and it's very important, I always let everybody know, me and Chris almost broke up the first time we played True Story. For real, there almost was no Araya, no Raven, no fanfoolery, none of it, all because I allegedly reneged. I don't remember that, but but we worked it out. So if you need a spades lesson like I did back then, holler at our friends from Braggers Rights.
I love it. I'm gonna need that. I'm one of those that I always find someone who's kind enough to teach me and then I forget. So at this point it's on me, but Braggers Rights, I might have to hit you up. So Rachel, I know today has been a day, so I'm not sure, but are you sipping on anything today? And if not, what do you typically sip on?
I am not. You know what? I don't even know. Let me see. Lately, I've been doing a lot of the Stella Rosa Black just because, it's just good. It's like juice, which is counterproductive. So I say that's what I would, if I was thinking, I would have got my glass. This is the perfect excuse to sip on.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I was telling people when I hopped on that I'm drinking my Black Girl Magic Rosé. But so summertime is right around the corner. It's spring though, so I will enjoy spring while it's here, even though I feel like the season's always skipped. So Black Girl Magic Rosé right now is what I have chosen to pull up. So for those of y'all in the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from and let us know what your choice of pull-up is tonight, as we get a little bit deeper into your journey, Rachel. So you talked a little bit about, meeting your partner, Chris, maybe it not working out because of the whole renege. Who knows? There's his truth, your truth, and, the truth. So we won't be able to unpack that. But you also talked a little bit about your game came about in a very unique circumstance. And it kind of came about as a way to be healing. And that's what I like to describe Black games as often, is like an act of resistance, like in moments where there's so much going on, still being able to find moments of joy, in my opinion, is an act of resistance. So for you back in 2018 to that point of conceptualizing the game, can you talk a little bit about like once you got into manufacturing, designing, actually, you know, launching the game, pivoting 18 months in? Can you talk a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm still constantly on that journey, even now, 4 years later. You know, I think when I first started, I knew other people who had other businesses before, but never anybody who had created a game. So I didn't know the first thing. I thought that I would create I thought I would manufacture the game domestically. You were laughing at that. It's like not, you know, you even if you want to manufacture a product like a card game here, you would not make any revenue because everything is double the price because they're outsourcing it, and then you paying both. You're paying the U.S. company as well as the manufacturer overseas. So you know, we were just blessed to have so many resources in our family. Chris had a cousin who is a business consultant, and she really just worked for us for next to nothing because we didn't have the budget at the time to invest in her services. And so to anybody who, whether you have a business venture that is a game or something else, that is the number one lesson that I wish that I was doing from the beginning is two things. Is what you're doing now, right? Is tapping into your game creator network, hearing what everybody else is doing to just not have to recreate the wheel. Why do the research if other people in this space have already figured the thing out? But then also just not trying to be a one-woman show all the time. I'm a part of this group called Sister Biz, and I remember they put out an article that talked about one of the number one reasons that Black women-owned businesses fail is because most of us have sole proprietorships, meaning that if we get pregnant, if we get sick, if this is our side hustle and, you know, our full-time job gets busy, that the business is not running because it needs us to operate. And so that's one of the biggest things that I've been focused on in the last year is delegation. And why spend all my time doing something like locating the best manufacturer or designing my cards when somebody else could do what it take me, you know, 2-3 weeks to do. I could be focusing on what I'm good at. Creating meaningful experiences, selling and marketing the game, kicking it on IG Live with my fellow game creators like you, and that alone has helped me to move the needle in terms of from a business standpoint tremendously.
And that's what you're saying is hitting me as a sole proprietorship, as a woman who's doing it and trying to leverage folks as much as possible. But can you talk a little bit about, like, for businesses that are growing and in the beginning of their journey, they're probably trying to prioritize the revenue they are getting in for more inventory, all of these different expenses. How do you finally come to terms with prioritizing that you can't do it yourself? Let me go ahead and pay somebody to do it without, you know, undercutting that person. Because I think that's a thing where it's like, okay, I'm a growing business. I only have X budget. But I also don't want to, you know, undercut what you're doing. I want to pay you what you're worth. So how have you found that balance?
Yeah, I mean, let's be real, right? You, even to this day, this applies to me. Your budget is what your budget is. So, you know, so first of all, if you don't create a budget and then, you know, figure out what you can afford to spend, if anything, on different services. And then if you can't afford to outsource, then you can't. Then, and if it's something you do it yourself, you do it. But then if you can afford something, but it may not be top dollar or what the person usually asks, do some kind of, you know, have a barter system, you know, say, you know what, I know this is what you charge. If you have the bandwidth, if you can work with me here at this discounted rate, I promise that I'm going to use you for the next 3 times I need this service. So for a lot of times for a consultant or someone who has their own business, it's worthwhile to me. If you're gonna book me for 3 game nights for sure, instead of just the one, I'll give you a little discount because I'm about to make 3 times the sale that I would have. So it's thinking about ways to bring value. And then the other thing is, you know, a lot of times people get excited and are inspired by entrepreneurs. So it's not always, you know, the F word being free is not always a bad word. I know that you know, I do talks on DEI. So I want to be clear about what I'm saying, because it is true that all too often it's us Black people, women, who are experts in what we do, and we doing our services for free. Sis, I'm not talking to you, whoever listening. If you a person, you got experience, you doing stuff for free, stop doing that. But if it's a mutually beneficial situation, which is usually what I'm doing with my, I'll use our social media. For example, social media is necessary, but it's too time consuming, and I'm not good at it, and I don't like it. So I don't manage Fanfoolery's social media anymore, but I also cannot afford top-notch branding experts who want 500. I was like, I'm not even making $500 a month off you know, sometimes off of game sales. So I'm not about to pay you $500 or $1,000 a month to manage my social media. But what I can do is pay an intern, you know, somebody who is a recent graduate or a current student who's good at it. They're having fun, they're being creative, and I can afford to pay them $15 an hour, you know, with a cap at the end of the week to do it. So you have to get in where you fit in. Would I have done that at the onset when I didn't really have game sales coming in regularly, when I didn't have this game night experience, you know, channel of the business or stream of income, or when I wasn't doing the education work that is, you know, the bread and butter for my business? No, I wouldn't do that. But now, since I can afford it, it's a mutually beneficial situation, because I'm giving that person, they're working at a discounted rate, but they're getting that experience to add to their resume. And then me, I'm getting quality work. And then I go out of my way for that person. When their time is up and they want to move on, I don't hold them back. I write them referrals. We stay cool. Everybody who's ever interned with me is like, we still keep in touch. We're still friends. They're still ambassadors. And so it's a mutually beneficial situation. And so those come all the time.
Absolutely. Mutually beneficial. And I love hearing, you know, about your DEI experience. I too, my 9-to-5 is in the DEI world. And I wonder, I've gotten this question once, and so I wonder for you, how do you feel like your DEI experience benefits or influences how you show up in the card game space, or maybe when it comes to creatively coming up with questions, a way to engage people, if at all?
Oh, it's totally connected. So, I mean, it's through Trap Wars that I entered the DEI arena. So I am a career educator. When I have the bandwidth, I'm a professor of intercultural management, HR management. But prior to creating Trap Wars, I had always been on the career management and HR side of things. But since you are in the education space, you know how it goes. We don't know how to turn it off. So when I started telling people in my community about what we were creating with Trap Wars, at the time I was teaching at Robert Morris University is a school that is mostly adults, non-traditional students. And so it's people who don't work all day, and they're trying to find innovative ways to keep them engaged and interested. So so at the time, the dean that I reported to asked me if I could create a curriculum that incorporated our game, and she would buy our game for all their freshman students and incorporate that into the curriculum. And that changed Fanfoolery forever, because before then, this was just my side hustle. It was just something that I wasn't even thinking about, like doing business to business partnerships, which that's where the money resides. So I thank God for giving her that vision and that idea. And so for me, it's probably difficult to answer that question, because I basically did the reverse of probably what most people in the DEI world would do. I had this game that gave me an entry in this space, and then in the reverse, now I am a qualified facilitator of the IDI. Now I'm going backwards and doing all of the training and the things that you already know. So, you know, talking about bartering, there may be an offline conversation we can have where I can help support and sow some seeds in you on the game side, and you can, help me on the DEI side. So I'm loving this conversation that we're having.
Yes, awesome. No, so much in common. And like you said, like so much opportunity for mutual exchange and to continue to support each other in our journeys of growth. So one more question I have for you, and then we're going to get into playing a few rounds of Trap Wars. I'm super excited. I haven't even opened my box. I like to do things on the fly. And shout out to our family Lyrically Correct game that just joined. I also see You Better Sing game. It's all the games on here. I love it.
Right. We just got to start doing this with all the game creators. I saw Nick from Brilliant BS come in here. Brilliant BS. I like bow down to them because they are in Target now. And that's, they are one of my favorite games as well, just like Black Wall Street. So if you don't know about Brilliant or BS, it's another game that's going to make things get petty, but it's definitely a good time.
Yes. And on that note, I just want to say, like, what I really appreciate so far in my journey and connecting with so many other Black game makers is not gatekeeping. Like, I too have also had the opportunity to connect with Camellia of Brilliant or BS, and folks from Lyrically Correct and so many other games. And sometimes you're nervous to ask questions. You're like, look, I'm not trying to step on any toes with my questions, but I also just don't know what to do. And like you said earlier, why reinvent the wheel? And so I will say, like, just so much wealth of knowledge, talking about lessons learned, talking about, look, I did this, do not do this, talk about, look, I did this, yes, you should try this. And so I really appreciate it. And I know that there are many, many more of us coming into the space. And so I'm looking forward to more knowledge sharing, information sharing, exchange of all of that good stuff. So we don't have to gatekeep. There's enough room for all of us on these shelves. I don't know one person that only owns one game.
Yeah, you play the same game.
Dozens.
Right. You play the same game 2-3 times, and then you want to move on and play something else. Now, maybe I'm a little biased, but Trap Wars is classic, so people do want to keep breaking it out over and over and over again. But in between times, come on, play Pull Up, play Brilliant BS. These are really fun games. And you're right. I remember when I first got into this business, people would tell me about other Black game creators, and they would say, you should reach out to such and such. And in the beginning, to be honest, I didn't do it because I was like, they're not going to help me. They're going to see me as competition, because I had been, that message about crabs in the barrel had been instilled in me. And don't get it twisted. There's haters out there. That's real. There are some crabs in the barrel, but my experience has really, that's probably been one of the biggest takeaways from me in launching Fanfoolery, that I'm always just welcome with open arms by any Black game creator that I reach out to. We network, we vibe, we help each other grow. It's like that one J. Cole song where he'd be like, how you looking up to me? I'm looking up to you.
Hey!
That's how it be every time. They're like, we calling you for advice. I'm like, okay, well, while I got you, I see that you killing it in this area. I got some questions for you too. So it's a beautiful community. And so, I imagine that the game creators I've connected with will always be lifelong friends.
Agreed. And all of this through COVID, through just the phone, Instagram Live, email, connecting. I haven't met so many of you in person, but whenever I'm in the Chicago area or whenever you're in the DMV area, please let me know. Because I feel like once you meet in person, it's like, hey, family, hey, cousin.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there's a Black Girl Magic brunch coming with Poe Up on the scene. I'm waiting for it.
Yes. Oh my God. I got so excited that I didn't even ask a question. So my question is, out of everything that we've talked about so far, if you had to Poe up to one success, what would that one success be?
Actually, you don't even have to think about it. That's an easy answer. So I started off this conversation talking about how we created Trap Wars in the midst of a difficult season for us, and a season of heartbreak. And so it's always my hope and my prayer that our game just reaches people in a moment where they could just need a laugh. And God knows in 2020, and beyond, I don't know anybody who couldn't just use a good laugh or a reason to get together with their friends. And so, all of the things that we have done, the opportunities we've been blessed with, the features, don't get me wrong, that's what we post about, and that's cool too. But when I really sit back and think about it, just the fact that this thought, this game that I wrote on loose leaf piece of paper, at this point, it has brought, you know, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people laughs, good times, a reason for people to put down their phone and just create meaningful moments with each other while we still here on Earth. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that right now. And so that is hands down the number one takeaway for me always.
Oh my gosh. And because we have so many game makers in the chat, in the comments, let us know how your game started out. So Rachel said that their game started out on loose leaf paper. Our game started out with 20 note cards as an icebreaker at a party. Like, did yours start in Google Sheets, Excel document, like Post-it notes, wasn't even on paper, was at the top of the dome? Let us know, fellow game makers, in the comments how your game started out, because I feel like it's the creativity for me. And then, like you said, the affirmation from friends saying like, no, can I get those? Because I want to play that again. Like that's really what it's all about, to turn an idea into an entire business. Yes. So with that, we are going to play a few rounds of Trap Wars, and then of course we'll play a few rounds of Up.
Yes.
Rachel, for those who do not read instructions, i.e. me, how would you explain how to play Trap Wars?
Girl, I thought that was just Black people, but it's all people, because at this point, you know, I done collab with game creators of all creeds, and people do not read instructions. So that's a little advice for game creators. If somebody said they about to make a game, don't you spend months and argue with your husband like I did about these rules, because ain't nobody gonna know them but you. So we're gonna play a modified way since we virtual, but really so Trap Words is a name that phrase or name that word guessing game. So I'm gonna be giving some clues. I'm trying to get Liz to say this word or this phrase that I'm thinking of, and then there are what we call trap words on here that you cannot say. Now, if you're playing in person, the most fun part of our game and where the petty begins is that if I slip and say something I'm not supposed to, Liz can snatch my card from me physically on the spot and steal my turn, and that's the trap snatching. Actually, Liz didn't know this, but she's getting the exclusive, because I know some of my people are confused. They're like, wow, your stuff's saying trap snatch, trap snatch. We are actually this summer doing a rebrand of the game under the name Trap Snatch. We done cleaned up the logo, gave it a more polished look and feel. We talked about humble beginnings. Full disclosure, I think Chris made our original logo in like Microsoft Word. So like I said, you got to work with what you got. But now that we're trying to be like our friends, Brilliant OBS, get some of these contracts with these bookstores, etc., we getting official. So if you already have Trap Wars, you want to grab Trap Snatch because it's new content, but we still kept some of the classic words and phrases that just gotta be in there. It's still in there, so it's still gonna be the same fun that you know, but it's even better because it's updated content from that captures all the foolery that's been happening from 2020 to 2022. So all that me and Liz are doing, I'm just giving clues, trying to get her to say a word or phrase, and she's going to guess it. But the main difference to keep in mind that this is all about timing. It's all about timing. So the goal is that we're trying to get you to say the word or phrase that we're saying the fastest. That's what you're competing against your component on. We're not just flying through the cards like a taboo or something like that. You're trying to get everybody to guess your words or your phrase the quickest. Okay. Sarah in the chat saying the trap snatch is serious. You think I'm playing that? People, relationships be in that.
Oh my God.
And I ain't just talking about at game night. I mean, even with the corporations, the CEOs, the churches, they may actually be even more petty.
Oh my God. Okay, is there a way that for folks who are joining from home, is there any way that they can play along in the comments? Are they competing against me if they guess it first and they get the
Yeah. Well, so why don't we do it like this, Liz? So we can battle each other. So you go, because you got your cards there. You go ahead, give clues, try to get the audience to guess, and then I will do the same. And I should have had a timer right here that I could time you, but we can just see between us who can do a better job at getting the audience to guess. So I know I got some people here in the chat with me, so don't let me down. Get those fingers ready. and we just
Okay.
going. There is a delay. I do know that. I've done
I was
enough
about
of
to
these
say.
IG lives, so don't come for us. Okay, we gonna acknowledge your answer when it comes in. I swear, but there is a delay, so we won't see it right away.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's definitely that's one thing Instagram Live hasn't quite figured out, and it's okay. But
Girl,
it
I
messes
almost
up the
stopped
call
that.
and response.
I think that's why we started doing Yard Stream on Facebook, and there's a delay there too. But man, I'm telling you, people. Oh, but at least with Pull Up, they got their wine, so maybe they'll be a little more chill. But people be
They gonna
getting
delay
big
it,
mad
right?
about these delays.
Okay, so I'm gonna this is for time, and you'll let me know if I'm at time or should I plan to do a few cards, a certain number.
Hold on, let me get my timer ready too, because we on my phone. So, but go ahead. We'll just make this one a friendly practice round, and then after that, I'll have my timer ready for you.
All right. Okay. So June 2020, RIP Black Squares on Instagram because this happened. A cop outside of a convenience store to a black man. Nope. Not an athlete, a black man. This was in George Floyd. Okay. So that is just a little tester of how this is gonna go. Okay.
Test around, yep. But I got my timer ready now. So on every other round, we can also make it about time. Yeah,
Okay.
and I know some people might be like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to play Tribe Wars. It gets serious, but it's everything across the good, the bad, and the ugly of Black culture. So so yes, rest in peace, George Floyd.
Yeah.
Gotta say his name. All right. So I'm going to take a lighter route, and actually I'm doing, just so you know, these will be a little different than your cards because I'm playing from the Trap Snatch. It's not even, you can pre-order it if you go to fanfoolery.com, but it's not even available yet. So yeah, y'all getting the exclusive since y'all joining us tonight. Okay, this one, we're going to go classic TV show with this one. This is one of the most beloved not your dad, but your dad's partner. Right. So this is one of the most beloved moms. You said mom, so now I can say it. One of the most beloved moms in TV history.
Claire Huxtable.
Hey, there you go. Yep. Claire Huxtable. Just so for anybody, this is what the new Trap Snatch look and feel. Everybody who's familiar with Trap Wars, if you're feeling the new look of Trap Snatch, let us know. But Claire Huxtable. All right, so that was our friendly round. Now it's been cool so far, Liz, but I get petty too. So I'm about to start the clock because I'm gonna walk away a winner today. So I'll let you go ahead and I'll start the clock as soon as you start talking.
Okay, and then I keep going after that?
Just one card at a time. So you go, I time you, and then I'm going to stop the clock, and then I'm going to try to beat your time.
Okay, and this is me versus the audience, because you know all the answers.
Right. So I'm not guessing. It's all about which one of us can get the audience to say the right word or phrase first. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay. I don't F with you. Who came up with that song? And we're going to account for the lag. This is a short person, a short artist.
Yeah, don't. You can't play that song when you mad. You be about to crash. Okay, so 15 seconds with the delay. Shout out to Nick or Camila, whoever's playing under the Brilliant or BS. So y'all got it at the 15 second. You get it at the 15 second mark.
Oh wait,
and I bet it was fast enough.
Sarah said
it is. Right, I was just about to say. So that's somebody who done play. Sarah has played Trap Wars, so she knows all the rules. But don't worry, if anybody who doesn't have the game, we got a whole list of rules to help keep the petty people in line. So it is Trap Wars or Trap, the soon to be Trap Snatch is all verbal clues. So you can't sing, you can't dance. It's a list, but we're just having fun. You pulling it up. I'm not gonna put too much heat on you for today. They know I'm petty, so they ready to jump with me, and that's how next time we play. That's how I'm gonna be. But we just formally meeting. I got my best face forward. All right. So I'm gonna try to be 15 seconds. You got a clock to time me, or are we doing the honor system and I'm gonna time
Honor
myself?
system. Honor system.
Okay. All right. At your own risk, sis. Okay. So, all right. So this guy is a whole fool. He has a show that everybody watches with 2 co-hosts. If it's a big dramatic event is going on, he gonna always say the ignorant thing that everybody want to say, but they scared to say it. His name is 3 words.
Charlemagne the God.
Yep. Charlemagne the God. That's what I was trying to get you to say. I'll be honest, that was 23 seconds. It took me a minute. It took me a minute to get it out. Shout out to Camila. I don't know if I wasn't watching the chat, so I don't know if somebody said it before that, but I see Brilliant of VS got it again. Brilliant. Why don't we go ahead and do some friendly competition with the audience? Are y'all just gonna let Brilliant of VS run? I mean, I know they're game creators, but y'all just gonna let them run the game here? Come on.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So that round, for that round, you won. You got a point because you beat me. Your time was faster that time.
Okay. Gotcha. And so we can say like how many words is on the card.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can say how many words. If I say a word or if they say a word in the chat, then it frees you to be able to use the words on the card. But until then, you can't say anything there.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So 2 words. And this is a show, a classic, not Girlfriends, but a show that's kind of the same theme with 4 women during that time. And I forget where it took place. Dang, I thought I was going to have an answer. So, okay, Living Single, yes.
Yeah, you better say.
My clue, I'm just like, yeah, so there's a clue. Where's this?
Oh, yes, you cannot drop the mic. You cannot drop the mic. You and DEI, girl, you know the Black experience is not a monolithic one. You be saying stuff you think you're going to know. You know, one thing I've learned about being in DEI is to be transparently yourself. So I know my sister Liz loved that round because Living Single is her favorite show of all time. So
I love it. It was in New York. Okay.
All right. So you still on that time, I don't got nothing to worry about because it took you a whole 35. It took you a whole 35 seconds, girl. So I'm about to go ahead and knock this one out.
Okay.
All right. This is another newer card that we added to the mix for folks who already have Trap Wars. This is a TV show. And Regina King was the voices of the brothers. There's a funny episode all about the itis, explaining to white people what the itis is. It's not even real people. It is a
Proud Family cartoon.
Right. It's a cartoon.
Boondocks.
It's an adult. Yes. Come on, Yes. Man, I'm talking stuff. I did have something to worry about. 28 seconds from me, which you had 35, so I did still win, to be clear. But you know what? That's how you know I'm petty. Like, why am I excited? I'm winning. It's my game. I made it. Like, I should be winning, but it still just feels so good. All right, it's your turn.
Okay, let's do this next one.
All right, it's on you. I'll start the clock when you're ready.
Okay, we can go ahead. So Rachel has been describing herself as petty this whole time, but if you're talking to the older generation, instead of using the word petty, they might say this. You might call your baby daddy this if they stayed out late. And it's like, why in the world would you do something like that? It's one word, and it's a little old school, kind of means petty when you've done someone not right, but yes, trifling. Yep.
Talk about baby daddy. I still call kids trifling all the time. It's necessary. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's the other thing about Trap Wars. We got something in there for everybody. The Gen Z, millennials, even your grandma who was pulling it up with you will have some some references. Because you know some of these games they making, you can't play this with you can't play with your parents and your grandma. Man, I got one of my friends tried to play Cards Against Humanities with their parents. It ruined the whole night for everybody. Okay, so Trap Wars is family friendly. I'm not responsible for what people do and say when they play, but it is. Now I want to make sure we have time to play Pull Up. So let me know when we swapping over.
Let's do one more card and then we'll transition to a few cards from Pull Up.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So for this one, you ain't in the black setting if this name ain't coming up at least once a day. It's starting to trickle, but it's somebody that everybody been talking about for the past 2 weeks. It's the moment
No,
that
be on the card yet. I said Katanji. Clearly, I'm in DC.
no, what's the thing?
Will Smith.
Right. So his he's most known for his his show
Oh, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'll close on that because people really still carrying on about this slap. I mean, yes, it was shocking, but I mean, don't y'all got stuff to do? Look, I'm over it.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I cannot wait to play this. And like you said, I think this is perfect whether you have it at work for an icebreaker, if you have it with family during the holidays, family reunion, you don't feel like talking small talk. This is perfect to pull out. And there are a lot of cards. Can you remind us how many cards are in the deck?
It's 150. 150. Yes. I should know on top of head. I'm sitting here thinking, is it 175 or 150? But it's 150. Yes, and it is the game that keeps playing. So you chances are you're not gonna get through the whole deck in one sitting. And even if you do, you can keep playing it over and over again. Because even hearing some of the clues you were given, I had to think like, what card is that? So it's always fun to revisit.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so we are going to play just a few cards from Up, and we're going to get everybody out by 8 o'clock Eastern because, you know, Married at First Sight comes on.
Look, you trying to get in Married at First Sight? I was thinking about how I was going to break it to you that I got to hurry up and put the kids to bed before Snowfall comes on. So.
So y'all, if you don't already know, if you just hopped on recently, Up Card Game is a nostalgic party game for unapologetic Black alumni and friends. It's all about reminiscing your college days through hilarious memories and nostalgic conversations. So there are no winners or losers because we believe Black excellence deserves to be celebrated and not competed. It's all about having a good time while you Up and Up responsibly. Okay. So there are a few different categories, and I'm going to read the card. And so for folks in the comments, feel free to answer in the comments or drop a drink in the chat if we're going to have to drink. And Rachel, I know you're not drinking, so just let us know if it applies to you or not.
Okay.
All right. So first question, and I'm going to shuffle these cards real quick. All right. Okay, this is a good one. So choose two people to debate, and it'll be the two of us. What's better, house parties on campus or bar hopping in the city? Pick your case, and who?
Oh, I don't know if that's me freezing up. Okay, it was freezing up for a second, but okay. I would say hands down, house parties on campus because you don't have to have a designated driver if you host them, or if it's in your community, you don't have as far. The drinks at the so I can have a whole bottle for what I'm gonna pay for one drink. I mean, is this even a debate? I don't know. What you think?
It depends on where you. So Illinois State, what was the closest city?
No, home. Chicago. And listen, nothing is out by ISU except State Farm and Walmart. That was a fun weekend to me if I went to the zoo. I think they built it up a little bit now, but it was not. I mean, we did have a little bit of a downtown area, but it's nothing. No.
Gotcha. Okay, no, that's real. I would honestly choose that because you're right. Even though, granted, we're drinking out of bins of alcohol, but you didn't have to bring your own, and you could party, and you didn't have to wear your heels half the time. So I'm here for all of that. Okay. This one is always a funny question. What school has the most obnoxious alumni? Up, whoever loses the debate. So we'll see. Who do you think has the most obnoxious alumni?
Man, what school has the most obnoxious alumni? So for me, because I worked out this school, I don't think I really got a full scope of visiting other campuses. So I would say while I was on campus, it was what we called the townies. And now that I'm a DEI professional, I don't even know if that's, I don't know if I'll lose my job if this live goes viral for calling them that. But
we call them locals. we got the elitism. Okay.
Yeah, so we call them townies, and that would be not just the people who live there, but then the people, people who like move down to Bloomington Normal, which is where the school is, and they're not even in school. They go into like the local. See, I can't even enjoy what I'm saying right now because it is very elitist. But that was who was reckless. Daniel was laughing because you know what I'm talking about. Them townies, man. You got to make me tell some stories I want to tell about some of my experiences with it, being catcalled and people being too aggressive. So
okay, a whole class of people. No, I'm just kidding. No, we all had our times and our moments.
Yeah.
Being in the DMV, I will say the answer is always Howard University. Every time we go to events and we have that card displayed on the table, Howard alumni will name themselves and they say it's us, and that's okay. We will own that. So I'm gonna have to say Howard University. Let us know in the chat if you think differently. I see UCLA came up. That's not one that I hear quite often, so that's a different one. Okay. Let's see. We'll do a few more cards. This is a PO-up one, so let us know with a few drinks in the comments if this applies to you. PO-up once if you did not have central AC in college. PO-up twice if you had roaches or rodents.
Ooh. I was blessed. I don't think I have it. You know what? No, I do. The first dorm, so for anybody who is from ISU, I had to live in Walker. When you're a freshman, you don't know better. I was probably late enrolling. So Walker Hall, listen, Liz, this tells you the condition that dorm was in. They done tore it down. I think they tore it down like the last year I was there. So it was all girls. It was like one of the only all girls dorms that was still there. It was just old, and I don't think we had AC there. So I'm going to give myself permission to have a glass of wine as I watch snowfall so I can make up for the sips that I'm missing right now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What about you?
We had units in our dorm, but we couldn't really touch it. So I don't know why the units were there. So I guess centralized through the building, but not through our room. I guess that's how fancy. That sounds horrible now. I feel like we sound so fancy, but no, not in the room. No, we definitely did not have roaches or rodents. Maybe water bugs. And I see some folks drinking at least once for the no central AC on that one. Okay, so PO-up once if you've had to walk more than a mile to get in a party. PO-up twice if you've walked that distance in heels.
I ain't sipping on nothing. You ain't seen me walking here, so I would never made it to the party. Luckily for me, where I went, I had some friends from high school who were a year older than me who went to that school. So so I always had a ride. from day one. I am not walking no mile. I did walk about 2 miles to get to a Denny's, I remember, because that's how Bloomington Normal was. It's no like real food, no real nothing, but going towards the expressway there was a Denny's, and I walked like 2 or 3 miles just to get me a good breakfast and a break from campus food. Our campus food was disgusting.
My gosh.
That show you that, if I walked that far for Denny's, like Denny's was my treat.
Liz threw three drinks there, so all of the above. And yeah, I'm pretty sure for us, because for me, we were right at the cusp of Uber wasn't yet invented. And so sometimes you would it depends on the party. So if it was a downtown party, you knew that parking was going to be ridiculous, so we would just walk from the dorm. But if I map that out, that is about a mile walk, and
that's crazy.
We could not take our heels off outside, so sometimes that walk ended up being in heels.
Man, my knees hurt just thinking about what y'all was out there doing.
You're like, nope, I want to ride.
Oh, look, it sounded like Camila, bitch. She said the whole town of Bloomington Normal smelled like Subway. Listen, Camila, when I say I could not eat Subway for years after I graduated, that is something about that. Actually, I just walked in Subway the other day to get a cookie from my daughter, and that smell just brought back I guess there are contract, like how you hit your meal plan, you get to eat at. We had Chick-fil-A on campus, which I don't know what that was. Not Chick-fil-A. That food was so. Now I thought I didn't like Chick-fil-A until after I graduated because whatever wasn't. But anyway, yes, Camila, the whole campus dorm smelled like that bread, and I could not eat Subway for years because of that. I'm getting a little nauseous thinking about that now. To this day.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know we have about 2-ish minutes left before For You Snowfall, for me Married at First Sight. So in closing, would love to know what is one way that we can support fanfoolery, trap wars, and let's assume that purchasing the game and following your page are a given. I always like to say that. Like, I hope everyone's already following you after today's live and getting ready to purchase the game if they don't already have it. But what's another meaningful way that we can support you and your brands?
Man, making posts and sharing it in your story when you are actually playing it, especially in the upcoming month, as I've shared that we're doing this rebrand, and so if you get the new edition, we're going to be specifically soliciting and looking because we got to update all of our content, right? Because everything says trap war. So if you can send us a testimonial or just show us you and your people actually playing and having fun once you get trap snatched, because like Liz said, I'm just going to assume you are going to get trap snatched, making sure that you're posting the content with our new branding starting next month.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Yes. Oh my gosh. This has been amazing, Rachel. Like, I cannot wait to meet you in person one day. Your vibe, your energy is just so positive, and I had so much fun playing this in like 10 minutes, let alone when, it's kickback season, picnic season, festival season. I cannot wait to have all these Black-owned games of Brilliant or BS. I'm going to have you and everyone else who has joined here today. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward to staying in touch and pull up to Black excellence.
Yes, pull up. And just for me to know really quick, do you do events with alumni associations?
Yes. So I'm in the process of doing more events with alumni associations, for sure. But I love it when I'm able to just play the game live with folks, and then they're like, "Oh snap, okay." I love that experience.
Oh, I already know. We about to get rotation because people after I do events, they're always saying like, "Oh, that was so fun. Do you guys have any other games?" But I love to be able to say I don't, and I know alumni associations will be all over your game because it's centered around the college experience. So before we wrap up, just got to say thank you for having me. Thanks for putting me on with Pull Up. I'm about to grab one. I had to do the test to make sure it seemed like me and my friends could play without falling out. But I think that's going to be, it sounds like it's going to be more fun than competitive. So I'm about to grab my copy. Wishing you much success, much love. Reach out anytime you have thoughts on ways that I could bring value to you and what you're doing with Pull Up.
Absolutely. Likewise. I hope you having a good night. And thank you everyone so much for joining and sticking around the entire hour. We appreciate it. Bye.